In the last video, we got started with debugging OSPF adjacencies with debug IP OSPF ADJ, and we saw how clearly listed in the middle of the debug input, or output I should say, these values dead, hello, and mask were. They were easy to compare, and since we had just botched one of them up on purpose, we knew which one it was, but we know now to look for these matching values and where to look for them. That's the most important thing. What is this dead and hello, though? If we think about it, we've got hello packets, so that's probably a timer dealing with those, but what exactly is dying with this dead? That's a pretty dramatic term. Well, these two values, which are related, the hello timer defines how often the hello packets are multicast to 224.0.0.5. Makes perfect sense. The dead timer is how long a router will wait to hear a hello from an existing neighbor on a given interface. When that dead timer expires, the adjacency is dropped. Now, in the previous example, we had show IP OSPF neighbor a couple of times, and it showed the dead time. We really weren't concentrating on that. So let me bring it up here. Let me stretch this out for myself a bit. There we go. And here, what I did on router 3 was run show IP OSPF neighbor 5 times in fairly rapid succession. And you can see the dead time clearly listed here in the center, nothing about hello time, but it was at 37 seconds, then 34, then 32, then 30, and then apparently it was refreshed because it shot back up to 38 seconds. Well, remember the hello intervals. There are 10 seconds on an Ethernet segment and 30 seconds on a serial interface on a non-broadcast network. Now, the default dead time for OSPF is related to that hello time or hello interval because it's 4 times the hello time. So that means the dead time for an Ethernet adjacency is 40 seconds, and an adjacency formed over a non-broadcast link such as a serial link is going to be 120 seconds. The interesting thing about this is that the OSPF dead time will adjust dynamically if the hello time is changed. Now, if you change the hello time, say, to 15 seconds on an Ethernet interface, the dead time would then be 60 seconds. You don't have to change it manually. Now, to be blunt, outside of some lab work, you could go a long time without ever changing OSPF hello and dead times. They really are values that you should leave alone unless you really have a tremendous need to change them for some reason. So we should never see this dip below what then? If we see on an Ethernet segment on a broadcast network dip below what value, when would we know we were in trouble? We're at 38 seconds on that one, 35 there, 32 there, 30 there. If they're supposed to come in every 10 seconds, the hellos, that would mean that if we ever go below 30 seconds on dead time, something's wrong, and we don't have much time to fix it. Less than 30 seconds. You can see there it shot back up to 37 after a hello packet was received. But let's go ahead and mess around with this a little bit. We're going to change that OSPF value. Let's go over to router 2. Let's do a quick show debug and make sure my debugs are not running from earlier. Again, not something you do terribly often, and you do this at an interface level, changing the hello interval. And the one we're looking at right here, hello interval, time between hello packets. And it's in seconds. Why you would ever set this to 65,535 seconds, I don't know, but we'll just set it to 15. And we already see a dead time below 30 seconds, so that means that either we're getting a hello packet or we're getting a hello packet with a mismatch, or we're not getting one at all. And we have a pretty good idea which one that is since we just changed it. But you can see the dead time. The dead times are coming. Sounds like a Dylan song. And let's see. I'm gonna get some kind of message here. Nope, none of this one, but just show IP OSPF neighbor, and that's it. Now, let's run our debug again and see what happens. Let's just wait for a packet to come in. And that was pretty quick, and I'll just go ahead and do a UAll for undebug all. Once again, we have mismatched hello parameters. And the mask this time is not the culprit. We know that because there's the mask and we see that's fine. But notice now that the dead and hello times are both mismatched, even though we only set one. Because the dead timer will automatically change. It will dynamically adapt to whatever you change the hello interval to. So now that we have a hello and dead timer issue, we have two hello parameters that are mismatched and we lost our adjacency. So I'm going to do something a little tricky here. Let's go ahead and run our debug again. And then I'm going to go to that interface and set it back to 10 seconds. I could have just done no IP OSPF hello 15 as well, and that would have set it back to the default of 10. But IP OSPF hello 10 sets it back to the default as well. And we wait, and here we go. I know the screen's moving around a little bit, just bear with it. I wanted to show you this because this is everything that's going on behind the scenes when you have an adjacency start. And we don't need to know every step of this yet. But right now, notice we've got something called a two-way communication, state two-way. That's the last step in an adjacency before it actually forms. And on an Ethernet segment, it forms very quickly. And you can see we've got a DR, BDR election going on here. You can see the DR was elected and the BDR election, BDR for the segment was elected. And we've got some DBD stuff going on here. We're going to save that for future studies. But again, I just wanted you to see there's a lot going on even with a basic adjacency. And over serial interfaces, there can be even more details. But just that quickly, we got our adjacency back when we got our hello and dead timer mismatch taken care of. So we've already covered that part. Let's go down to 6. And we got that up and running. We turn our debugs off, of course, with UAll, and we're good to go. The very next video, we're going to talk about a value that doesn't have to match between potential neighbors. We're going to make this adjacency again between routers 2 and 3. During the break, I'll take the adjacency off. We'll start it from scratch, work with that network command again, get you used to that, and then we'll see a value that doesn't have to match that a lot of people think does. I'll see you on the next vid.